Is it possible that a single song, yes, just one song, could quietly shake the balance of power in the global music industry that once seemed unshakable? And if that is true, why does the moment when Jungkook surpasses Taylor Swift on Spotify's streaming charts feel like something far bigger than mere statistics, something that points toward a shift in the very direction of music history itself? That question may sound exaggerated, even like overly dramatic clickbait, but the data emerging in recent times reveals a reality that is difficult to ignore. The song 7 by Jungkook, released in July 2023 and featuring rapper Latto, has officially reached the 22nd position as one of the most streamed songs of all time on the global Spotify chart, Filtered. The number it has achieved is not just high. It sits in a territory long dominated by the biggest names in global pop, with around 2.71 billion streams, a figure that has surprisingly surpassed Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift, which stands at approximately 2.7 billion, as well as Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles, which is at about 2.6 billion. On paper, the difference may seem small, almost insignificant from a purely mathematical standpoint, but in the context of the global music industry, even a gap that narrow can symbolize something far greater. This is not merely about who holds the higher number, but about who manages to sustain relevance, mobilize audiences, and consistently capture global attention in an increasingly competitive and unpredictable digital landscape. An infographic widely circulating on social media, including one shared by the fanbase at Daily Praise, places these three major figures, Jungkook, Taylor Swift, and Harry Styles, within a single visual frame, as if summarizing a quiet competition that has been unfolding for years. Jungkook appears dressed in an elegant black suit, projecting the image of a global pop icon who is no longer confined to the identity of K-pop, but has transcended geographical and cultural boundaries. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift, long regarded as one of the most dominant artists of the modern era, appears just beneath him on the list, a position that, for some fans, feels unusual, even surprising. But is this truly about defeat and victory? Or is it simply a reflection of new dynamics in how music is consumed in the digital age? To understand the depth of this phenomenon, we need to look beyond streaming numbers alone. 7 is not just a commercially successful track. It is the product of a highly structured global strategy, a blend of cross-cultural accessibility in music production, the strength of an organized fandom, and the career momentum of an artist at the peak of his popularity. From its very first day of release, the song dominated international charts, including debuting at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, an achievement that reflects not only immediate appeal but also long-term potential. Longevity, or a song's staying power on the charts, is often what separates a fleeting hit from a truly historic work. In the case of 7, what we are witnessing is not just an initial explosion, but an extraordinary consistency in maintaining streaming numbers over time. This suggests that the song is not driven solely by temporary hype, but possesses an intrinsic appeal that keeps millions of listeners around the world coming back to it. This is where the narrative becomes more complex and more compelling. When Jungkook, an artist emerging from the K-pop industry, surpasses the streaming numbers of Taylor Swift, a Western pop icon who has dominated the industry for more than a decade, a larger question emerges. Are we witnessing a shift in global power within the music industry? For years, the global music industry has been dominated by Western markets, with the United States acting as its primary center of gravity. Artists like Taylor Swift have not only achieved commercial success, but have also defined global standards in production, distribution, and music consumption. However, the rise of K-pop, led by groups like BTS, has gradually but steadily begun to reshape that map. Jungkook, as a member of BTS now pursuing a solo career, occupies a unique position to capitalize on this momentum. He carries with him not only a massive and loyal fanbase, but also the ability to reach new audiences beyond traditional K-pop fandoms. 7 stands as a perfect example of how music can transcend cultural and linguistic boundaries, creating a global resonance that is difficult to ignore. Fan reactions further highlight how emotional this moment has become. On social media, ARMY, the name for BTS fans, celebrate this achievement with immense enthusiasm, viewing it as proof that Jungkook is not just competing, but excelling on the global stage. On the other hand, Swifties, Taylor Swift's fanbase, display a more varied response, ranging from pride in their artists' accomplishments to debates about the validity of such comparisons. Yet beneath all of this, one undeniable truth remains: numbers never truly stand alone. They always carry context, narratives, and broader implications. When Seven reaches 2.71 billion streams, it is not just about one successful song, but about how the global music landscape has evolved, about how audiences now wield greater power in determining what becomes popular, and about how traditional boundaries are increasingly fading. Does this mean the era of Western artist dominance has ended? Or is this merely a temporary phase in an ever-evolving industry cycle? The answer may not be simple, but one thing is certain: this moment has opened a new conversation about the future of global music. With Seven, Jungkook has not only set a record, he has posed a much larger question to the world: who truly controls the direction of the music industry today? If we dig deeper, this phenomenon cannot be separated from how Spotify's algorithm works and how global listener behavior has changed drastically over the past decade. In the past, a song's popularity relied heavily on radio airplay, physical sales, and major label promotion. Today, a single click, one playlist placement, and one viral moment can elevate a track to levels that were once unreachable within the old system. In this context, Seven by Jungkook emerges not just as a piece of music, but as a living digital phenomenon, one that evolves and moves in sync with the consumption patterns of the current generation. Yet it is precisely at this point that a sharper, slightly unsettling question begins to surface. Is this success entirely organic, or is it partly the result of a fandom so organized that it can effectively steer the numbers? This is not a new question in discussions surrounding K-pop, but it becomes increasingly relevant when the figures achieved begin to surpass those of an artist as massive as Taylor Swift. On one hand, it would be unfair to reduce this achievement solely to fandom effort, as song quality, production value, and global appeal remain fundamental factors. On the other hand, it is equally undeniable that ARMY plays a significant role in maintaining long-term streaming stability. At the same time, if we trace the journey of Seven from the beginning, an interesting pattern emerges. The song did not merely explode in its first week, it sustained its presence even as the initial hype began to fade. This suggests that there is something embedded within its composition, whether it is an addictive hook, universally accessible production, or Jungkook's own persona, that keeps it resonating with global listeners. This stands in contrast to many viral tracks that rise quickly but fade just as fast. Meanwhile, the position of Cruel Summer should not be underestimated. Despite being released much earlier, the track experienced a resurgence years after its debut, proving that Taylor Swift possesses extraordinary catalog power. What this reveals is that the battle between Jungkook and Taylor Swift is neither simple nor linear. It is, in fact, a convergence of two different models of success, one driven by intense global momentum and another built on long-term consistency that stands the test of time. When these two models intersect, particularly at a point where their streaming numbers become nearly identical, the result is not just comparison but a kind of paradigm collision. Will the future of music be dominated by massive spikes fueled by global fandoms, or by strong catalogs that steadily accumulate numbers over time? Or will both coexist, forming a more complex and layered ecosystem? Amid all these questions, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Jungkook is no longer seen merely as part of BTS, but as an independent force capable of standing alongside the biggest names in the industry. This transformation did not happen overnight. It is the result of a long journey, strategic positioning, and, of course, extraordinary fan support. So, as that 2.71 billion figure continues to climb, the question is no longer whether Jungkook can surpass Taylor Swift, but how far he can go from here, and whether the world is truly ready for the kind of shift he might represent.